All right, hello and welcome in. This is take number 2 for the Football is King podcast this week. We learned that our Zoom license has apparently been expired, so here we are on a different platform. It might look a little bit different this time. So you know what? Maybe it won't. Who knows? We have no idea what it will look like. But we want to just say thank you for all of the people who have been watching in and tuning in as our podcast continues to grow. We got new subscribers again this week. Thanks for subscribing. To all y'all that are listening to this, go ahead, like, subscribe, smash the like button, as they say. Or if you're listening on Spotify, go ahead. 5-star reviews help us for the algorithms.
There is one YouTube commentator that likes the dislike button.
You know what? That's fine.
I almost told him that his mom also likes to sleep with little people, but I didn't.
We don't need to worry about that. Now, nobody knew this except for me, but we are going to have an official sponsor this week.
Coors Light?
They are not aware of this either. We actually were just on the phone with him not too many minutes ago, but we have got to shout out whatever the name of John Stitchkowski's realty company is. I don't actually know off the top of my head.
John Stitchkowski Realty. That's
John
it.
Stitchkowski Realty right there. As his wise words that were made into a YouTube short became our most watched video of all time last week. So this college football hour of the podcast 100% is going out to John Stitchkowski Realty. If you are in the local Austin area or the suburbs or surrounding areas, look up John Stitchkowski Realty. And if you need to know how to spell that, look at Blake and Shane's names on the screen. That's Steczzkowski. He's a wise man. And you know what? We got almost 2,000 views with John's wise words.
So, at Crit Real Estate. John Stitchkowski for Crit Real Estate.
There we go. Thank you for that. That is our official plug of the podcast.
Or Crit Real Estate?
That is Crit, Kritt, Real Estate LLC. Okay.
JohnSellsTexasHomes.com.
There you go. JohnSellsTexasHomes.com. And you know what? Texas is a pretty big state. And
that's true.
You know what I know about people in Texas? They love football. And so everyone in the state of Texas is going to listen to this podcast, and it's just going to go from there. All right. What I do want to ask, okay, in our take 2, I want to ask it again, though, and talk about it because our viewers didn't get to listen to take 1. A serious football opinion is if your coach goes for it on fourth down in any yardage on your own 20-yard line, the commentators will always say, well, that coach must really trust his defense. And I think that is a false statement.
No, I think that coach is a buffoon.
Well, yes. Those are the coaches that will end up on the Brandon Staley coaching malpractice meeting. Yeah. But, I mean, you're basically guaranteeing that you're giving up points. So, in my opinion, you are saying I don't trust my defense.
Are we referencing the football Lions?
Just in general. General.
The brand new Lions definitely did this on Thursday Night Football. A couple college football coaches. Our boy Frank Reich in the Panthers-Falcons game loved to go for it on fourth down because he trusted, quote-unquote, trust his defense. And that didn't really work out for him as they lost by 10 or whatever.
If you want to go for a fourth down on your own 45-yard line, I'm going to maybe give you a pass depending on the circumstance. But on your own 20-yard line, let's have a little couth. Let's, what do they say? You got to this point for a reason. And when you do stuff like that, we all question, is this Johnny Knoxville in the ringer? Is this how he got here? Or
I'm glad to see. I think we all agree on this 100%. Yeah. I'm in agreement. If you go for it on your own 45, you're saying, like, I trust my defense not to give up 20 yards so we don't give up 3 points.
Yeah.
If you go for it on your own 20, you're giving up the 3.
I don't know if y'all were watching the people kick the footballs this weekend, but guys were kicking 57-yarders and clearing the the crossbar by 10 yards.
Oh yeah, there's some boots out there.
There were some times this weekend where I looked at it and said Shane's 70-yard prediction is not far off.
Hey, I'm getting
It's gonna take a coach with some balls to let a kicker do it. But
it's gonna take Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
it is. Well, what the kid from Westlake High School kicked a 50-something yarder, right? I mean,
high school kids are kicking 50-yarders these days.
I mean, the Browns kicker, I think, hit a 57-yarder in the pouring down rain.
Yeah,
just drilled it.
There was a time where I swear, like when we were growing up, that like 50-yarders was like, oh wow, like a 50-yarder.
Oh, for sure. So we were talking about this Sunday at my parents' house. I remember 50-yard field goals. I would say that there was a 1 in 4 chance that it went in.
Now that's automatic. Plus.
Now I would put it at like 65% chance, which is like people are like, oh, 65. That's not that great. 65% from 50 plus 50 yards is insane.
Yeah.
No, and if it's your team and your kicker misses a 50-yarder, you're going, what are we doing? You got to make that.
It's never going to be the distance. The distance is never going to be the problem, right? You never are going to see Devin Hester lined up to return a kick for a field goal for a touchdown because the distance isn't going to be the problem. They're going to miss left or right. It's insane what distance these kickers can get nowadays.
I think my prediction was 70-yarders are going to become a normalcy in the NFL, and it is. I'm telling you.
But back to the question though, that makes it even more absurd to go for it on your own 20. It's like these kickers are. I mean, it makes it absurd to go for it on your own 35.
Oh yeah,
these kickers can nail that like with their eyes closed.
For sure. All right, and boom, there's 5 minutes of football conjecture. But we all know that everyone came here to listen to us talk about college football, and we had a week of college football, and there's only one place to start, and I know it's going to pain everyone that's on this podcast, but that's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because Texas looked frighteningly good against Alabama. They kicked the crap out of Alabama. It wasn't close.
There's the old saying that the game is won in the trenches, and that game was dominated in the trenches. And Alabama never, they just had no chance. The Texas guys, the one differentiator between an SEC team and a Big 12 school has always been the line of scrimmage. And Texas looked like an SEC team on the line of scrimmage.
I was gonna say these guys know I didn't get to watch it because I was battling the 2 Ps, but everything I heard is that Texas looks large up front. Very.
You know what? Honestly, Alabama in the first half kind of ran the ball really, really well, but then they just kept trying to have Milroe throw the ball, and then that would stop their drive.
Or dumb penalties.
Or penalties. I mean, dude, Alabama looks like the worst coached team ever, which I know they're not, but
which is the craziest thing because that's just not normal at all.
I understand.
It's happened 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I understood it last year when they were at Texas, and it was like, okay.
But last year was stupid. It wasn't like false starts. It was like late hits and just dumb stuff.
Yeah,
but the late hits, I can never get past a late hit. Like it is just dumb.
Yeah.
Here's the age-old question with Alabama, and this is someone who didn't get to watch the game. We always say you catch Alabama early, and I'm not saying their quarterback is worth a flip. I've seen enough of him to go he stinks. But is it Texas caught them early and they're going to catch their stride later in SEC play, or are they dead?
We've seen this quarterback play in 2 big games, right? He played against Texas A&M last year.
3 picks.
Did not look good at all. They did win the game, but A&M was a very bad football team.
And he threw 3 picks.
Yeah. They here's the thing, and we talked about this, but they just don't have those guys that they usually have. They don't have the big defensive linemen. They don't have
They got no dogs.
Cornerback. They don't have the wide receivers, and they don't have a quarterback. If you don't have any of those, you're not a good football team.
I mean, they have a quarterback that
he can run.
they have a Lamar Jackson quarterback in college where, man,
He'll make deep throw.
He'll make that deep throw, and he will run, and he would be great for a Heisman Trophy if he played in the ACC or the Pac-12.
Even Kirk was saying, like, he throws a beautiful deep ball.
He does.
But that's about all he can do.
That one, I don't remember what the wide receiver's name for Alabama. The deep touchdown pass hit him perfectly in stride.
Horn? Was it Horn or whatever?
I don't remember, but all I'm saying is his deep throw touchdown looked way better than all of Quinn Ewers' deep throw touchdowns. But
they don't have the breakaway speed that Texas wide receivers had.
No, dude. Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell or whatever that dude's name is that number 5 from Texas is a monster.
Well, he caught the game-winning pass against
he's
Alabama
he's
for
from
the SEC
Georgia.
championship.
Yeah, but that kid is a monster at wide receiver. He's so good.
They got those two guys, and then name a wide. See, we watched the game, right? Name an Alabama wide receiver.
I don't know.
Can't do it.
I watched every snap of that game.
They go from Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs. They had dudes.
Usually, you can name 3 or 4 a year.
You can name 3 that are going to get drafted in the first 2 rounds.
Mechie, which I know Mechie hasn't been successful in the NFL because of injuries.
Wait, the dude had cancer.
Yes, cancer.
Yeah, Mechie was a beast.
Ableist podcast over here.
I'm just saying. I'm saying we left him off the list. We put Henry Ruggs on the list, but we forgot about Mechie. Also, Mechie's college career got ended with his ACL.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, and Alabama probably doesn't win a national championship because Mechie tears his ACL because that wide receiving core was insane.
I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Alabama.
Jamison Williams.
Jamison Williams.
Exactly. Off the list.
Alabama's going to lose 4 games this year.
Well, and did Alabama also usually has 2 running backs that will dominate?
Honestly, their running backs are still pretty good.
The running backs are still pretty good.
They're not what they're used to.
The problem I don't believe that. The problem is you have a quarterback that can't throw.
Also, the running game is all about blocking and scheme, and their offensive line is trash.
That's the other problem.
Which
I'm
gonna be
watching
real sad
the game right now. I'm watching it because I didn't watch it this Saturday. Alabama just couldn't block.
No, they couldn't
at all.
No, that
defensive line at Texas manhandled this offensive line.
I don't know what his first name is, but Hill from Texas playing like left end or whatever. That kid is a monster. I mean,
I'm telling you, they looked like an SEC team for the first time ever.
And I hate to say this, but after watching that one game, if that's how Texas can play football, Texas's new bar for this season is undefeated.
I don't disagree
in regular season play. In the playoffs, whatever, their new bar for whether this season is successful or not, they should steamroll the Big 12. It should not be close.
They should, but
except for maybe Oklahoma. Except for maybe Oklahoma.
I still don't think they will. Oklahoma didn't look great.
Oklahoma might have a defense though, so that'll be a low-scoring game.
But Texas again, it's the same thing we talked about. Is they've got these expectations, but they always
they drop the ball.
They will.
I know, but TCU is having a really big down year. Baylor looks awful. Baylor is pathetic. I mean, all of their stumbling block teams are like not competent football teams.
I
still think they'll drop 2 games.
They gotta go. They have to go to Ames, and they usually struggle in Ames, Iowa. That's the one thing. Matt Campbell's a good football coach.
They have Kansas State.
Kansas State's at home.
Okay.
I think the only time that they leave the state from here on out is to go to Iowa. That's it. It's Iowa State.
I'm going to say this.
I think they're in Texas for the rest of the season.
I'm going to say this, and y'all aren't going to agree. I think Tech could beat them.
Oh,
that's the one school that I think is a wild
card.
They played terrible week 1. They played
any wild card.
Knowing Texas, any team can beat them.
I watched Tech play for probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes this weekend. And I sat there and was like, they could beat anyone and they could lose to anyone.
I'm just saying that Texas's bar, after beating number 3 Alabama in Alabama, is now 12-0.
Here's the only thing I will say, and this
And a
goes to
playoff
Shane's
berth.
point a little bit too. Steve Sarkisian has had this circled on his calendar for the past 5 to 6 months.
But he didn't do anything different. He ran the exact same game plan that they ran in Austin last year.
Oh, agreed. I'm not disagreeing with that, but this is the game he has circled. Now we have to do it again and again and again and again. Can they do that? I don't know.
I mean,
they didn't do it last year.
They get Wyoming, which talent alone, they will get through Wyoming.
Yeah. Agreed.
So they can start looking forward 2 weeks
then
from
they
now.
have Baylor.
Baylor is so bad.
But when Texas starts looking ahead is when they start stumbling a bit.
That's what I was going to say about Quinn Ewers is Quinn Ewers seems like the I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be worth a flip in the pros. And I saw some guy, I forget, probably Acho or someone saying, Quinn Ewers has the most to gain from this weekend. If he plays good, he's solidified himself as a first-round draft pick. If Quinn Ewers is the ultimate guy that can get his head going like this, and it will just diminish in a second. And when it gets small, he will crumble. He will just
Quinn Ewers' draft stock went through the roof this weekend.
It did.
I agree.
But it can crash really fast
I
throughout
still
the rest
think
of the season.
If we look at the entire body of work, Quinn Ewers, the 2 best games he's played, and one of them he played for a quarter, were both Alabama games.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, his deep ball does not look good. I think he had there was some stat they shared with he had 0 completions of over 20 yards in the last 6 games last year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Or 20 air yards.
Yeah.
Which you have Xavier Worthy. How is that even possible?
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think that the Big 12 is down this year, and I think that Texas can run it.
That's possible.
The SEC is really down, so Alabama might be fun.
Thanks for jumping the gun there. Yeah, the SEC sucks. We're gonna get to there in a second.
Terrible.
All right, that's enough about UT because this is an A&M podcast. So let's get to the misery part. UT beat Alabama, and now we get to talk about A&M getting their teeth kicked in by whatever his freaking first name is, Van Dyne, as
Tyler Van Dyke.
Tyler Van Dyne, as they will say.
He looks like a 45-year-old man
on the freaking. I wanted to mute my television so fast with.
If they showed his mother one more time, I was gonna die.
The main ESPN people, shoot, it's freaking.
It was freaking. Wasn't it Mark Jones?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Blackledge. What's the guy's name? Frick. It doesn't matter. The commentators for ESPN are my least favorite people, and
it was Nagandi and someone else.
No, it was. I'll look it up while we talk. But A&M look.
You can't let Tyler Van Dyke throw for 5.
Well, here's the problem. We have the exact opposite problem of Texas. Our line of scrimmages get absolutely destroyed. Our defensive line, DJ Darkin has got to be fired today.
Yep.
That dude, he will never blitz anything. He never runs a blitz. Edgerrin Cooper, who's probably our best linebacker, I believe he blitzed 4 times. And the rest of the time he was out in coverage. What are we doing?
We had no sacks. No sacks.
And on the complete opposite.
2 sacks.
Well, on the complete opposite side, Miami, they blitzed, I think, on 70% of the downs. So Wigman had no time ever. No. He had no clue where the blitz was coming from.
Okay, but
they blitzed their cornerback 6 times.
I'm sorry. The fact that our offense could not figure out the blitz scheme and how to get around it just drove me insane.
Oh, me too. And leave a running back in the backfield, please, to help out. They had free rushers every single play we dropped back.
My problem is, how do you go? This is what I've talked about this.
It was Tessitore and Palmer, and they were awful.
Yeah,
they were so bad the entire game.
This goes to my fire bimbo method. You bring in all these top recruits to be on the defensive line, and you can't get to the quarterback.
No, it wasn't even get to the quarterback. We couldn't push the offensive line 1 yard backwards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't. It's either falls down to freaking coaching, or we suck at recruiting. I don't
Well,
know
we're
which
blitzing.
one.
We're
I
blitzing
yeah,
3 on the line every single freaking play, and it's like
It's
our
Yeah.
strength should be our defensive line. Why do we have 3
Yes.
guys out there all the time?
Yep.
It makes no sense. And then you literally see Van Dyke just standing back there. I mean, he had some plays he legit could have stood back there for 10 seconds
He could have sat back there for an eternity and
all
just,
day long.
Yeah.
Duh, he's gonna pick you apart if he has all day long to sit back there.
Coming into this year, our defensive line was supposed to be.
Yeah, but we were terrible last year because Durkin has terrible schemes.
Yeah.
When Elko was coaching and we
dude.
ran this defense where we actually blitzed every once in a while, we were very good with less talent. Now we have more talent and we are infinitely worse because this idiot DJ Durkin is a terrible coach.
Fire Bimbo and bring in Elko. Bring me
coaches,
Elko.
Dude,
coaches get so stuck in their ways.
Next year.
Yeah.
Elko's getting a job next year.
Fire Bimbo and bring me Elko.
It makes no sense. It's like you have to change your
Elko's
you have to change your scheme based on your personnel.
Yeah.
Durkin is too prideful to change his scheme based on his personnel.
Well,
we will lose 5 games if this is the defense we play.
It's the same thing with Jimbo on the offense. You're too stuck in your ways. You've got the great coaches move with what they've got. They adapt to who they've got.
Jimbo's not doing the offense anymore.
But I will say we stood with our hands on our hips a lot more in this game. And then the one possession, I think it was in the third quarter, the one possession where we ran like some sort of tempo, we scored in like 6 plays or 5 plays. And it was like a minute and a half possession.
Tempo matters.
The thing when we're talking about the offense, though, there was a player, and I love him, but I was ready to cut him immediately, and his name was Evan Stewart, because there are 2 drives that we get field goals out of because this man was afraid to take a hit on the 5-yard line and ran backwards. He ran backwards twice on 3rd down inside of the 10-yard line when he could have easily. He caught the ball at the
fall forward
and could have just as long as he just fell straight down, he would have been fine. And he did it twice inside the 10-yard line, and it led to field goals instead of touchdowns. And we could have been up 2 scores.
We had 2 chances in the first half to really put like a stranglehold on that game, honestly.
Yeah, because I mean the game started perfectly for us. The Miami special teams fell apart. We could have been up 2 touchdowns. Evan Stewart ruins it. And then it's a close game. And then, of course...
And at the end of the half.
Then they run a kickback, and then the game was over. As soon as that kick got returned, it was like, this game's over.
Oh, yeah. We made it 1 possession. I got all excited. And then they ran the kickback, and I was like, oh, it's over.
Yep.
See ya. But the end of the half was killer because we had the ball with, 3 minutes left? We end up punting on, the 40. And then they run 4 plays, and they're in the end zone in, in a minute and a half. And then we got the ball back in an immediate 3 and out.
Yep. It was
absolute killer.
It was a rough week.
How do you teach kids, these college kids, that football is honestly, in my opinion, a game of momentum. If you can seize the momentum, you will win. And it's like
but it's even above that. If you watch singular possessions, Miami, for instance, it was either a 3 and out or it was touchdown. As soon as they got a first down and they ran tempo, we were done.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't get how we, or just any coach for that matter, I'm sure they do, and they're just coaching 18, 19-year-olds that are stupid. But how do we not do the little things? Is it just, we're a big program, we got a couple 5-star recruits and things like that? We don't need to worry about the little things.
That's what I think it is.
Or, the second that Evan Stewart doesn't try to fall forward and runs backwards, I would bench his butt for a drive. A whole drive.
Where's the wide receiver coach? Being dude, what in the world?
Or I'd be in his ear. I'd be calling him all sorts of words that are not PC to say on this podcast. But I would be all up in him and just be like, good Lord, man, your flaps are showing. What are we doing? I would be, if I was a coach, I would be just hounding that child mercilessly to where he starts to play football.
This is what happens.
I don't
when you
see.
coaches guaranteed contract, 10-year contracts.
Well, I was gonna say there was no like in 2020. We went into halftime and we're like, oh, it's a close game. I was like, okay, we'll make adjustments and we'll win. The past 2 years,
No,
I have not seen any adjustments being made. It's the same baloney in the second half it is the first half.
Also, Evan Stewart, boom, $1.7 million in NIL deals apparently. So I mean, like, how are you supposed to convince this kid to like?
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's got. I mean,
If somebody handed me 1.7 million, I think I could retire.
no, 1.7 is not what you think it was anymore. But we're too young for that. Now, if we're a little bit older, sure. I'm just saying, like, I understand.
I could disappear with 1.7.
I think I could do.
Well, not in the United States, you can't. Maybe down in maybe if you go to Malaysia and turn those 1,000 euros into 5,000 whatever they were called,
rublies or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Have we had enough pain?
Yes, I'm about done with college football.
No,
I will say this. I will say this.
Here we go. He's been quiet.
I think I know we dissected A&M there, and like there were a lot of negatives. I do think A&M and Miami are decently good football teams.
That was my only hope. That's my only hope.
I do think Miami is a decently good football team.
We said that last year. Then they won.
No,
like 4 games.
last year I walked away from the game being like, both those teams are terrible.
No. Last year I knew Miami and us sucked. But
This week, Miami has dudes on the line of scrimmage. We stood on the line of scrimmage.
I
But
like
they got
our
some
offense.
dudes.
I like our offense.
our
I
offense
really hate
is
our
moving the
defense.
ball.
Well, our defense
We're scoring
can't tackle,
points.
so
You know why I hate college football or football in general? If we win out, and I got faith we will, we still got a path to win the SEC West, baby. We can still.
The West is weak.
the West is bad. Yeah,
the West is
bad.
very freaking
Ole
bad.
Miss might be the best team in the SEC West.
Not
But the
only is the
problem
West
is-
bad. Oh, we lost Shane to Elon.
What's
Go
the
ahead,
problem,
Shane.
My problem
you.
is I've still got god darn hope. That's the problem. And
Why?
Oh, I do too.
I have a little hope. I'm with Shane. I have a little hope.
I have
do
The
hope.
too.
SEC West is down.
I have hope we'll
Not a
make
lot
a
of good
bowl
football
game.
being played. We pull
No,
it
I still
together.
got hope we're gonna win the SEC West, and that's my issue.
We put
That
some
is the
string.
issue.
We put some strings of wins. We
I-
should be all right.
I am extremely confident right now that A&M does not win more than 7 games. I am so
Damn.
confident we do not win more than 7 games.
Damn.
I'm telling you, my only
Evan?
hope after walking away from that game, I was like, at least we lost to a team that looked like a decent team.
But
Because sometimes we lose to teams where you're like, what in the world? Just
well, I mean, we're guaranteed to lose to Mississippi State. So like, let's just go ahead and put that on the like.
Although
we're
that-
beating them this
They
year.
changed all of a
We're
sudden.
beating them
it
this
doesn't
year.
matter.
They rushed the ball 62% of their plays, which is
Well,
unbelievable.
Hello.
It doesn't matter. We lose to
Their
them every
coach
single year.
died.
Yeah,
Like-
Mike Leach is dead, so they have to do
Mike
the
Leach
opposite.
is dead. So
So
they're
now
gonna
we're
run the
disgracing
ball.
his memory by running the ball. That's
They're
Yeah.
going to run the ball.
Throw Alabama as a loss.
I'm not
Maybe.
sold on that. I'm not
I'm
sold
not
on that.
sold on it, dude. Alabama does not look good this year.
We play Alabama tough when we're bad, and they don't look great.
Um,
And that's in only 3 weeks. That's in 3 weeks, I believe.
Ole Miss is looking pretty
yeah,
strong.
because it's
Ole Miss looks like the
Arkansas.
best team in the West.
Where do we play LSU? Is it in College Station or Baton Rouge?
This year should be in College Station.
Oh,
We
All
beat
right.
no, I
them
think
in
it's in
Baton
Baton.
Rouge last
All right.
year.
I think
That's
it's in
fine.
Baton Rouge.
No, we beat them in Baton Rouge
Because
last
don't
year.
we play Alabama at home this year? Don't we?
No, but I thought we won against LSU the last game of the season.
Oh yeah, you're
last
right.
year.
You're right. It is in Baton
Yeah.
Rouge.
It was in Baton Rouge last year.
We play Auburn and Alabama at home.
All right, so there's a chance there. I mean, I don't
Dude,
know.
I'm telling you, you put
Auburn
it
is a
together all
game
at
that
the
we
right
should
time.
win,
You
but
should
we
be all
will
right.
lose. I'm just telling you, I got us at 7 wins max.
Tennessee doesn't look that great to me.
Tennessee doesn't look that. I mean,
They've struggled with
Tennessee-
Austin P. They
Tennessee
struggled with Austin
Tennessee
P.
can run the football.
They can run the football.
And our defensive line is hot garbage.
I
So,
legitimately believe Ole Miss is the best team in the West right now.
All right. While we're on that
Because Lane
topic, let's just
Kiffin's
talk
a
about
good
the fact that Lane Kiffin is a good coach, but the SEC just in general is bad.
not
Yeah,
good.
it's bad. It's ugly.
Not good.
How many non-conference losses? We're up to like 5 or 6 non-conference losses.
I don't
I'm
know.
very
Georgia,
intrigued because I really don't know if I know Georgia's good.
they're
but are they
good,
good
but they're-
to like the
but
extent
they're
of like
not-
beating a
They're not
Michigan.
last year good.
Yeah,
They're
not
not
last year good.
Like
they're not great.
beating a Michigan.
But
Well, I don't know about that.
The good news is Georgia has time and
To
the
put it all
easiest
together.
schedule of all. If Georgia's offense starts to click, watch out.
They got
but
dudes.
Did
They
y'all
got
know
dudes.
this blows my mind? How many sacks does Georgia have through 2 games?
0, I believe, or 1. I think it's
0
1.
sacks. They have
0.
0 sacks.
That's crazy.
Which is just insane. So, like, are they having defensive line problems?
Yeah, their defensive line is not looking. That's why I say they don't look as good as last year. I think their defensive line doesn't look that great, and their quarterback looks okay.
Yeah,
but they have big old dudes.
for sure.
That's the problem.
But Georgia looks mortal. Is my
I agree. Last year, I would have.
The rest of the
they looked
East
unbeatable.
looks terrible.
Yeah, I think
Although,
the
look
SEC
out for
is
Vanderbilt
the SEC the 3rd best conference in America.
right now. Yeah,
Maybe 4th.
maybe at the end of the year it'll change, but right now not 4th. Do not no.
I would last week. I was ready to sound the alarm. It was looking ugly.
It's not great.
It's not great.
When's the last
Have we
time
beaten a Power 5
when's the last
team
time
yet?
that's happened?
Has the SEC beaten a Power 5 team? Beat Virginia.
Dude, Virginia almost lost to freaking what's their name?
No, they lost
Golly.
to James Madison, didn't they?
Yeah, they did lose to James Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tennessee beat Virginia. Is that the only Power 5 win that the SEC has? It is ugly.
It is not
I'm
ideal.
looking it up right now, folks.
I'm
And
sure
they're
somebody else has played.
they're
I haven't
not
watched a
gonna-
single Missouri game. I don't know who Missouri's played.
They're not going to have very many more Power 5 wins because the SEC doesn't play other teams besides the SEC.
They play one, yeah. You basically get one game a team.
All right, let's get to the fun part of the podcast. Let's talk about Coach Prime because the Colorado Buffaloes are 2-0 and the swag is through the roof. And you know what? I still hope that they have just an absolutely incredible downfall. But it's kind of fun watching them go up.
Not a Power 5 win.
Virginia, Tennessee beat Virginia.
Yeah, but that's it.
That's maybe the worst Power 5 team, but
Yeah.
Sorry.
Coach Prime, they're going to capitalize on this like early season like success. I still think it's going to come to a crashing halt at some point.
I can't wait for it, but
I don't know when it's going to happen, but they'll end up honestly, they'll end up 7-5. And
Which
if you told us that at the beginning of the year, we would all said, "Well, that's awesome. They won one game last year."
They've won.
Yeah.
They've won 7 games in the past 20 years. So
probably something crazy.
They win 7 games. I do want them to beat USC. That's all I care about. If they beat USC, I will be through the roof.
I want
after that.
What I want from that game is I want the total points combined to hit over 150. That's what I want.
I believe the over-under in Vegas will be over 100.
I want it to be like 70 to 85.
But here's what's going to actually happen. It'll be one of those games where everyone expects it to be like 150, and the game will end up being like 17-14.
Yep.
I just don't see how.
I don't either, really. Colorado's problem is going to end up being their depth, where they just get – if they get into a shootout, their defense is just going to be gassed.
I'll say, if Nebraska had any sense of an offense, they would have been fine. But Nebraska's offense is so freaking bad. Their defense played so great for that entire first half.
They kept them in it.
But then they were so tired because their offense was so bad.
Well, the quarterback dropped 3 – did he drop 3 snaps, all resulting in turnovers?
Yeah, it was rough.
This is
And
what
then
happens.
threw a pick. He had 4 turnovers.
This is what happens when your head coach gets run over by a robot.
That was not That was not that rule.
We've talked about that before, but
Just a man that looked like him.
I'm still not gonna let that one live down. I feel like this is I guess there's not a lot of good football this weekend, I know, but there's got to be something better than game day going to Colorado versus Colorado State. Like,
That's just a money grab.
I don't think there are any top 25 teams playing each other.
I don't think there's either. I was looking today. It's kind of a depressing setup. But that means there will be some upsets.
You know what? this will be my hot take of the podcast, which I love to say a good hot take every once in a while. I love me some college football, but after watching college football for the first 3 weeks, or what is about to be 3 weeks, we're basically proving that the first 3 weeks of college football don't matter. All of the non-conference games are being proven that they don't matter. All we have is teams like us in the SEC that can't win a game. So we schedule some cupcakes so that we can win. We've got a bunch of games that just we got blowouts after blowout. And
I think the 12-team playoff helps that though because it's less risky. You can schedule a good team and lose and be fine.
Yeah, it's just like while the NFL, like, yes, there were some incredible blowouts this weekend in the NFL, which if you would like to hear us talk about the NFL, tune into our second episode of the week. But it's just at this point, it's just like on the NFL, you have any given Sunday, and almost every game is going to be close. While in college
Unless
football,
you're the Cowboys and Giants.
I know, but that there were 2 games that weren't close this weekend?
Yeah.
3 because the Rams Seahawks got out of hand. But in college football, if you look at the top 25 teams, 20 of the 25 games or 25 teams are in blowouts every week. There's only 5 good games a week amongst the good teams.
I agree. College is one of those things. I'll sit down. I could watch a game in every hour for sure, if not 2. But it's one of those sports where it's like you watch your team, and then there's probably 1 or 2 other good games that you want to watch, and then other than that, you're like, eh. Now I'll sit down on a Thursday and watch Pitt and whatever.
I do too.
But
I mean, I'll watch it, but like I'll watch it while I'm playing a video game or on my phone or whatever, because it's just like, yeah, there's sports on, I will watch it. But like Penn State plays Illinois this weekend. I have zero desire to watch that football game. However, on the flip side, like Tennessee plays the Titans play, I don't know, the Chargers. I want to watch every second of that game, even though I know that Ryan Tannehill can't throw a football. Because
I think they're just
Mike
different
Vrabel's
sports.
a good coach.
I honestly believe they're just different sports.
Yeah, they're different sports. The Packers versus the Falcons this weekend is going to be ugly football, but the game
I'll
is
be in
gonna
attendance.
So
I'll be
close.
there.
There you go. The game is going to be so close, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Are you gonna have your sombrero on?
I was thinking about getting a Dirty Bird shirt.
There you go.
Oh, just for the representation.
Yeah, provide a little conflict for the other attending folks. But I think college and NFL are just like different. They're totally different sports. You almost watch them for different reasons. Like college, I feel like you watch for the chaos. Like you watch for the time that Appalachian State beats whoever they're going to beat.
They got close. They got close.
They did get close, and then you watch like the NFL. You watch it like for the actual like the gameplay. Like you're watching for good football.
Yeah.
College, you are rarely watching it being like, oh, this is great football.
Yeah, you're watching for the storylines.
Yeah, but the problem is if you like college football, like most of us do, I can sit down and watch UTSA and UTEP and still enjoy myself, even if
I will too.
Game.
If it's a blowout, though, I'm like, okay, I'll turn this off.
Yeah, if it's a blowout, I'll turn it off. But usually those games are going to be, oh, we got a 1-score game, and it's not a crap.
As long as the game is close, I'm saying in college football, a lot of times your good teams, which are the teams that you're like, I want to watch them because they have the most implications for the playoffs or the championship game, like their conference championships games or whatever. Unfortunately, the good teams are usually so much better than the bad teams that those games become unwatchable. Oh, shoot. I'm going to watch Liberty versus whoever this weekend because that game is going to be great. It's going to be a close game. But it's going to be the ugliest football that you've ever seen. It's going to be Texas high school football level of quality.
But the problem is we only got one more week of that, and then there is going to be a lot of every hour there's at least at every hour slate there's going to be one.
Well, even this week though, it's like you started off the day you had Nebraska, Colorado, right? Everyone was anticipating it, blowout. Then you had Texas A&M, Miami, decent game for a half. Ended up being we lost by 17 or something like that. And then you have Texas, Alabama, decent game, ends up being a 10-point game. There's no the NFL. Every game is a one-possession game for the most part.
Yeah.
Correct. And
everyone has a chance at the end.
Every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, you got a Dallas Cowboys 40, Giants 0.
That was a snooze fest.
Which, yes, I went to bed at halftime for that game because there was no point to watch the second half of that game. But there was also a Chargers-Dolphins game back and forth. Even a game like the Falcons and Panthers where the game was ugly as can be, it was close the entire time.
Yeah.
It was two scores, but
they're different. They're just different sports.
Yeah.
It's like college basketball and NBA. It's just two totally different sports.
Correct. And both are unwatchable except for in the playoffs.
Well, the NBA has turned into unwatchable.
Hey, I don't know where you're headed next, Austin, but I just saw this. It's breaking news to me. But the Bills owner is being alleged of making some racial
I saw that.
comments.
I saw that.
You've got my problem with America is if you've got an issue.
Uh-oh. Shane's saying something after saying something was racist, and now is freeze thanks to Elon. So maybe Elon saved us from getting canceled.
Elon's censoring Shane.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
But I don't know if I want to hear you.
No, it's not bad. If he said something racist, so be it. But don't come out and say that this is a report from a undisclosed person. No, if you've got an issue,
did you hear what he said?
Your name on it. Yeah, he said these black players, if they got an issue or something with it, go back to Africa. Which
that's bad. That's a bad statement. Can't say that. Also, did
they
release
that?
He
actually said it?
Also, did they release that at 11 p.m. Eastern
No.
time?
It was released today because that Jim Trotter guy is suing the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, but the guy he said that the Bills owner Terry Pagula said it to is not being named in the report.
Well, he said they said it was in a Zoom or a video conference years ago with executives or something. So a bunch of people heard it apparently. Jim Trotter was the only one that said it though.
Now, I will say, very insensitive comment, but I would not want to go to Africa and see how it is because it's probably not very great. Probably not a good look. But you can't say that. It is a bad look. But if you've got an issue, put your goddamn name on it. Don't come out here. This isn't life and death. Don't come out here and say, oh, this is, I need to be an anonymous source. No, put your name on it, bitch.
You know what? These people have learned. These people have learned rule number 1. Snitches get stitches. So they're trying to hide.
Don't put your name on it. And he'll get fired just because of emotional outcry.
A lovely transition that is so smooth and has nothing to do with any of that. We're going to move on for college football. We're going to call it tentatively. I want to get everyone's feeling on this. The Urban Meyer coaching malpractice tracker. Gosh, that's hard. Coaching malpractice tracker. Which Urban Meyer was a great college football coach, but is kind of a scumbag. So I like throwing it that way.
He likes to finger bang.
He did, yep. And so, you know what? If I can, think back to my brain about a college football coach who was really, really dumb, then I'll change the name. And we've got 3 coaches on the hot seat this week, and one of which we might consider controversial. But first up on the hot seat is Kyle Whittingham, coach of the Utah Utes. And we got to talk about the final drive that Baylor had an opportunity there where Utah, they're up 7?
Yeah.
With 0 time left. And, I mean, the preventest of all prevent defense played, and Baylor walks down the field.
Yeah.
And
no, wait, Baylor was winning, and Utah walked down the field.
No. Utah won the game.
Yeah.
Then they
They
went off
scored
an
14
interception.
straight points in the last 2 minutes.
Correct, but at the very end of the game, Utah scored to take the
Oh,
lead
yeah. Okay, I know.
with
okay.
no
The
time
very
left.
You're talking the very last possession.
Very last
Gotcha,
possession of the game,
gotcha.
which Baylor does not score on, which
Yeah.
on this podcast, we are not results oriented. Okay. He played it wrong. He played the all prevent defense, and Baylor just in like 10 seconds walked the ball down the field and had a chance to throw the ball to the end zone to tie the game.
And it should have been a pass interference in the end zone. They should have had another play.
Yeah. So Kyle Whittingham is first on our list.
Well, not only that, you shouldn't even let Baylor be that close to you. Shouldn't even be.
No, that game should
Well,
never have been that
Baylor
close.
should have won that game.
Utah is still not playing with their starting quarterback. Like, let's give them a little bit of.
No, but still, I
They
mean,
need
Baylor
Cam Rising
stinks.
back.
Baylor,
Dude, Baylor is real bad.
They're very bad.
Baylor is very bad. All right.
Abrahan's going to lose his job.
The amount. Okay, I
not.
drive by. What is that stadium called? Whatever that.
The Toilet Bowl.
Mick
yeah.
something. McFarland, McLean.
McLean Stadium. Week 1, I drive by it on Friday afternoon. Lots of tents outside the stadium to tailgate. Lots. Last week,
No tents.
not many tents.
And that was a big game.
When I drove by it on Friday afternoon, there was nobody out there.
Not many tents out there to tailgate. It was looking like Halloween town. It was not a good look.
Nice. All right. Coach number 2 on the hot seat. Shane's favorite coach, Jimbo Fisher.
Oh, freaking.
With actually 2 incidents this week. Incident number 1, in my opinion, was there were multiple times. No, hold on. There are multiple times throughout the game where it was 3rd down or 4th down and very short. And we ran the same exact formation and the same exact play 4 different times, and we were 0 for 4. We didn't change it at all.
We love to do
In fact, we lost on those 4 plays. We probably lost 8 yards.
It is possible that we lost it, but that is unconfirmed. Allegedly lost 8 yards. Not trying to have Jimbo sue us
Legit,
over here.
because it was ugly. Every time we were short, I was like, "Oh, we're screwed."
Yep. Like as soon as we ran in the same formation, I was like, "Well, here we go. We're gonna."
I don't understand. Just run honestly on a 3rd and short after you've not gotten it twice. Run like a short little slant route. If you throw the ball, I'll be happy.
Dude, the slant route in college is undefeated.
It is.
Also,
They play 15 yards off.
Yeah. Even if you run the ball, as long as it's out of a different formation, I don't care.
That's
like
true.
as long
Get
as
to
it's
one
a different
outside and
play
let him
call.
run.
Do the Derrick Henry, Tim Tebow jump pass. I don't care. Just change the play call. That's what I care about.
But like you said, Austin, the biggest thing for me is in college football, the slant route is literally the most guaranteed play in all of football when it comes to college football. It's you can legit get 4 yards every time.
You can legit run a screen, like a legit just have the dude just stand there and just throw it to him, and he can get 2 yards for sure.
Yeah.
It's
guaranteed.
Corners can't tackle, and they're playing 15 yards off.
Yeah.
Shake one dude, and it's a touchdown. They do it to us all the time. They do it to
That's
us all the
time.
If I see one more screen pass where there's no blockers and they score a touchdown just because they shook one dude, I'm going to go nuts. That happens so much.
It does happen a lot.
It does.
This is why college football is trash, because all it comes down to, if you can break, because almost
shake
every
one dude and you're gone.
Almost every college team runs almost every college team runs man coverage across the board. Look at Alabama versus Texas, and as soon as the receiver beat his one guy, touchdown,
Gone.
touchdown. It's just.
And at Texas A&M, if there is a screenplay, boom, gone. He's gone touchdown every time. Every time.
Against us, it is electric.
Every time.
They're
going for 85 every time. It's
and then and then that receiver is automatically the Heisman candidate. It is,
Oh yeah,
it's
he's.
not-
Oh, if they have a fast little white dude, that dude's going for 400 plus.
Yep.
Give a fast little white dude. That kid from Clemson would absolutely go.
Yeah, don't
bonkers
let
on
Hunter
us.
Renfro. Don't let
Wes
Hunter
Welker, Braxton Berrios,
Oh, they would go bonkers
Julian
on us.
Edelman would just absolutely dominate.
And he'd
All
run
right.
over some of our guys too.
Jimbo's second offense was there was a drive. I believe it was in the first half.
That was the first drive.
It wasn't the first drive, but there was a drive in the first half where we had to take 2 timeouts for delay of game penalties in the same
It was
drive.
in the first quarter. It was in the
It was
first
in the
quarter.
first
I believe.
quarter. It was early. It was rough.
I tell you, we went back to our little hip stands.
Yep.
Haven't seen that before.
The first game, we ran some tempo. We were throwing the ball a little bit, and then we just went away from it all of a sudden. It's like, what are we doing here?
Jimbo wanted to get too involved. And
Yeah, that's what I think. That's exactly what I think happened.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. And our final coach in the hot seat, which I know this is going to be a controversial one. Let us know in the comments or
Nick
tweet
Saban.
at us at FIK Podcast. Or, sorry, not tweet. X us at FIK Podcast. Steve Sarkisian,
because
even though walked
stupid
into
hairdo.
Tuscaloosa and won the game by 10. At the end of the third quarter, it is 4th and 2, and the score is 13-9, and he goes for it in his own territory and doesn't get it. And what happens immediately? Alabama takes their first lead of the game. Now, once again, in this podcast, we are not results-oriented, and after that, Texas immediately scored on a 3-play drive and took the lead and took over the game. However, Texas had all the momentum going in. They're 13-9 up. They've dominated the game, and he goes for it, and he doesn't get it, and he turns the tide. Pun fully intended right there. Alabama goes and takes the lead 16-13, and that game could have
got out of control.
Flipped right there. Quinn Ewers could have thrown a pick on the next drive. Quinn Ewers is known to do that. And Alabama 100% would have won that game if they didn't give up an immediate three play touchdown on the next drive. But Sarkisian going for it on 4th and 2, still in the third quarter, while up 4 points in Tuscaloosa, was a terrible decision.
No,
Yeah, you got to kick it. You got to go by 7.
That has
It wasn't. No, he wasn't even in field goal range. Punt the ball deep. He was on his own 48-yard line, I think. Punt the ball. Your defense has dominated. Punt the ball, pin them deep, and play defense.
I don't
while
remember
your
that play, I
defense is
guess.
dominating.
But he also, it goes back to what we've talked about. Sarkisian, whether he wants to admit it or not, that win cements him an extra contract no matter what happens in the next 2 years.
Disagree.
He's getting another contract.
Disagree.
Now I hate that alcoholic's hairdo.
He went like 7-5, 8-5, whatever his record was last year was terrible. Like
if they end up losing 3 games again, if they lose 3 games this year, people are going to be unhappy.
Yeah, he's going to be in the hot
seat. They should be unhappy.
At this point, if they lose us,
you're not calling people alcoholics.
At this point,
bad luck.
At this point, if they lose a single game, he'll be on the hot seat because right now, everyone's expectation in the city of Austin, as someone who listens to the city of Austin local sports radio, undefeated, at least to the playoffs. Like, if they don't, like that's the new expectation for Texas, that they make the playoffs and go undefeated in Big 12.
Look,
I genuinely believe that's,
which is my expectation for them as well.
But honestly,
if that's the level that they can play at, they should steamroll the Big 12.
For Sarkisian, it honestly would have possibly. We'll see how the season ends. It almost would have been better to like lose a close game. And it's like, okay, we're a good team again.
Yeah.
It's just like last year. Last year, losing to Alabama in the way that they did, no one was upset with Sark. They were upset with the refs. They were upset with a couple calls. They were upset that Quinn Ewers got hurt. That was his best case scenario.
They got to win. I mean, they got to win. That's it.
Honestly, I was sick, but I watched some of game day. I hate that dumbass's hairdo. I want to slap the shit out of him.
Oh,
when
I
look
hate
at
the
it.
stupid
just-
vest hoodie combo. It looks
Yes,
awful.
I hate that. I hate
And
And I
the
the
hate
glasses?
this. I hate this every time they go to the crowd.
Yeah, I hate that too.
I can't
I
say it.
hate,
Third
I
down.
I hate the mohawk.
Yeah.
I
I
hate
also
McConaughey.
yeah. Well, McConaughey does it backwards. McConaughey will hook them like this. I hate also
I'm
though.
okay with this. I'm okay with
No,
this.
this is Hookem. This is McConaughey just trying to be an individual.
This is Jack Black school rock. Let's
Yeah.
rock, baby.
I also hate opposing fans just doing this all
No,
day.
I love
I hate
this.
that too.
No.
I hate when they. Oh, I can't stand when they go to Kyle Field and everyone in the crowd is doing this.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap about
Well,
the
I
University
hate
of Texas?
I hate it when you're not playing Texas. But if you're playing Texas, because
No, I hate it. I hate it when you are playing Texas because
Yeah.
that
No,
just gives Texas fans. Oh, everyone hates us. Everyone hates us.
No, I love it because they want to make it a penalty. I think that is the most self-righteous and
No. I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about the fans. Every time the camera pans over the fans, every fan's doing this.
Everyone.
It's super annoying.
I hate it.
I'm okay with that just because they make it. Oh, you can't do horns down.
I think it would honestly make the Texas fans more mad if just nobody cared.
Yeah.
Well, that's
they want people to care.
Yeah.
Texas fans literally like get off to people caring.
Yeah.
Well, it's like never mind. I almost said something very terrible.
So let's wrap up this episode of the podcast. Under an hour, I might say. So good job on us.
I didn't know about that.
Well, we got 6 minutes to get it under an hour, so we can do this. And all we have left to talk about is let's recap our picks from the previous week. It was honestly a pretty good gambling weekend on the podcast. I don't know what y'all did in your own personal time, but you know what? Honestly, sorry, it was a 50-50 weekend. I misread some things. Blake and I went 2-1, where we both kind of got a little screwed. I think in both of our the Bengals looked terrible for Blake. Joe Burrow, and if you would like to hear all about Joe Burrow's demise, tune in to our episode tomorrow where we will talk about all things NFL. And I got screwed. I really thought the Central Florida Golden Knights would cover the spread, but they did not cover. They just won, so that's a bummer. And Shane and Jonathan both went 1-2 because they thought that Utah would cover the spread, and that hook, you both got hooked by that 7.5. Yeah, you both got hooked by the 7.5.
7.5 points is scary.
Yeah,
always scary.
And once the pick six happened in the second, at the end of the game, I was like, "There's a chance."
Oh, it's that stupid goatee from that goddamn coach. I hate that goddamn goatee. That piece of shit.
But you know what? I know for a fact. I've seen the list. We have nothing but winners this week. We're gonna go 12-0. Yes, I have, Shane. The listeners don't know that I have not seen I have seen everybody's list, and I know that we're gonna go 12-0 this week. So you're going to want to tune in to the NFL podcast tomorrow, because at the end of that podcast, we will give out all of our picks for week 3 of college football and week 2 of the NFL. But for now, that is going to do it for the Football is King podcast for the college football episode. We will see you tomorrow for the NFL episode.